I'm Anthony Neoh. I'm a senior counsel of the Hong Kong Bar and chairman of the professional board of the Asian Institute of International Financial Law. It's been my pleasure to have been involved with AIIFL for the past, goodness no, I forgot how many years now. And I think probably from the very, very beginning, when I left my job as the chair of the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission, and from then on I went to Beijing to become the chief advisor of the China Securities Regulatory Commission, and I came back to Hong Kong in 2003 and continued on. So it's been a very, very long journey for both AIIFL and myself. And I've been very privileged to have been able to chair the professional board for such a long time. And AIIFL, of course, has made tremendous headway, in fact, in improving regulation, in making its mark, so to speak, on the financial scene, not only here, but internationally. And the reason is this, is that international finance, in fact, doesn't come through international conventions as such. There are lots of international bodies which create best practice, and this best practice is then assimilated into different jurisdictions. The traditional concepts have been banking, securities markets, and insurance. But of course, as you've seen in later years, these three concepts have actually not only merged, they've become actually very malleable. And in fact, we see payment systems, we see things like Tencent, we see Alipay, we see PayPal, and all of these things, in fact, get merged into different types of financial services. And the AIIFL has been with all of these developments all along, and has been able to really bring in knowledge from around the world to the financial scene in Hong Kong. And that has really enriched not only the financial markets, the banking markets, insurance markets, and generally finance in Hong Kong, but also, of course, created a very, very vast cadre of human resources, not only for Hong Kong, but also for the mainland. Therefore, really, it has been a great success, and I've been very privileged to have been able to take part in this journey as chair of the professional body. Now, we have, of course, many members of the professional committee really taking part in all the activities of AIIFL. And in recent years, of course, AIIFL has been particularly active in dealing with a number of key questions in the financial services. The first, of course, is fintech, which has been very, very important. And really, it's one of the trailblazers in research in fintech. The other, of course, is international taxation. And you recall, because recently there's a G7 meeting where, of course, the international sort of a basic level tax rate was agreed by the G7 country. Remains to be seen whether, in fact, it will be taken up by other countries. But that is a very, very important question, because commerce travels around the world, and the question is, where do you tax them? How do you tax them? And how much do you tax them? So these are very important questions which AIIFL has been involved in researching. The other thing, of course, is cross-border payments. That, of course, involves fintech, but also, of course, lots of international law, contract law, financial services law, protection of privacy. All of these things, in fact, come into the question. And finally, then looking to the future, AIIFL, of course, has not only been involved in really trying to bring best practice and the latest practice and the latest cutting-edge thinking into the financial services, both here in Hong Kong and in the region and internationally, if I may say so. We have a particular niche, in fact, for both Hong Kong and the rest of China. The Greater Bay Area, of course, is now opening up, and Hong Kong is one of the focal cities of the Greater Bay Area. So the AIIFL will have a tremendously important role to play. And I see that AIIFL will continue, in fact, to play a very important role. And I'm privileged to be able to have been part of this journey. And I look forward to taking part in the journey in the future.